What's up, everybody? Richie here. So here in the garage today, just doing a little bit of reflecting. I was checking out the car and trying to figure out what's my next move. Obviously, if you've seen the last videos or my last post, I was out in Vegas and finally got the launch figured out, but overall didn't end the way I was hoping. Blew another axle, so that's the plan moving forward. I guess we're gonna get some bigger axles, bigger hubs, and we'll go about it that way. But just again reflecting as we come to an end of another year, 2025. It's been quite the journey, so I just thought I'd figure, you know what, I'm gonna do a kind of a recap, a reflection video, a highlight video rather, of some of the positive track events we've been to, some of the things we're working on as far as my car goes. So if you're just joining us, it would be a good way to kind of tell where I'm at with my car. This is my car right here. Anyhow, so yeah, I kind of just want to go over some of those clips and kind of recap of how 2025 has been for me. I'll start off by 2024. Coming into 2025, it was a little bit rough. We came out of a couple races, went to Colorado, again dealing with some launch issues, some traction issues, some axle issues. But coming into 2025, I really wanted to figure all that out. And we got a new local track to us. It's an 8th Mile track. It is Mendota Raceway. It's an 8th Mile track here in Mendota. They recently did some pretty good improvements. But at that time, I just wanted to figure out my car for myself, get some confidence back, and just, you know, like I said, figure things out. So I'm gonna play that clip here. It was a pretty successful day in Mendota. Raced a friendly, familiar car, friendly face, and also a very unfamiliar car. But nonetheless, I'll put those clips in right now. All right, so hope you guys enjoyed those first few clips. As you can see there, that second race, I raced a El Camino, Ranchero, one of those. I couldn't really tell. Anyhow, it was a really good race. I figured out my launch then, and I was super excited racing that guy. I think I launched on him pretty decently, and about halfway down the track, he started coming around me. But nonetheless, my car performed just the way I wanted to. Got things figured out in Mendota. So confidence was high leading into our next race, which was IFO Bakersfield in February. I think it was also another really good event. I'll put that clip in next, right here. Guys, so that clip there happened to actually be my PB. There were some ups and downs, some proud moments in there, and also some little bit disappointing ones. That last clip, if you've seen, I launched really good. That was actually an in-car video of my PB, and not only that, is I actually missed fifth gear. So PB currently stands at 11:57. That pass that you just seen there, 11:57. And again, it still had more in it because I left fifth gear. I missed fifth gear, so I didn't even get to power through the quarter mile. I was probably about 1,000 foot or so. But nonetheless, that event turned out great. I believe that was a semifinals event that I made to with a good friend of mine, Justin. But anyhow, didn't work out. Made it to semis. Didn't get the dub. You know, it happens. But nonetheless, great track event. I was proud of myself that day with the new PB. But one thing that was lingering was that fifth gear situation that I really wasn't too happy about. So that leads me to the next move. What's next for the car? I mean, that's been an issue for a while. Going to fifth gear, my tranny is geared pretty high. It's got a 4.7 final drive, pretty short gears, and I was on a stock base model K24, which, if you know, doesn't really rev the highest. So I wanted to change things up. So I think it was about April or May or sometime around then, I decided to sell my K24 and go with a stock K20 long block. K20's a little bit less displacement, smaller motor, but you can rev it higher. So that was the whole theory behind that. Ended up doing that, got it dynoed, got it going, everything was working well. And went out to a test session, and then I believe that's when we ran into some issues melting the valves. I don't know if any of you guys seen that, but I was having some issues at the track, in general with the car, melting the valves. I figured out what it was, and if you're ever melting your valves, it's a good conversation to have with someone. There's a lot of factors that that involve a lot of things to consider when you're racing a car, or you have a race car or a motor in general. I mean, there's so many things that can go wrong, but thankfully I figured it out, and I'm off to my next track event, which I believe is H-Day. So I'll put those clips right here. So hopefully you enjoyed that clip there. Again, that was in H-Day. That was, I believe, my first qualifier, first or second, can't really remember exactly. But as you can tell from that clip, the symptoms, kind of my issues kind of changed. On the launch, I was bogging out the hole. I think that's because I have a smaller motor now, less torque, same RPM. I was trying to do the same things with the smaller motor. Didn't really work out, so I had to really turn up the launch, which I currently haven't now. But anyhow, my goal was to not have to shift to fifth gear. So you see in that clip there, 1, 2, 3, 4, rode it out all the way a quarter mile. That was the plan, that was the goal, and I achieved that goal. So we got this mile per hour figured out. We just needed to get the launch figured out. And unfortunately, didn't happen during H-Day. I kept bogging out, wasn't able to make the appropriate adjustments for that race, and ended up, I remember, going home in round 1 eliminations. But again, this is all just a learning curve, a learning experience, you know. I think when it comes to bracket racing, it really comes to being consistent. You got to really be consistent in order to win those races. But again, learning moment. What did I do? Brought it back, made some adjustments, and decided to race in Las Vegas, which was my last race of 2025. Headed into Vegas, made those adjustments, retuned the car, got some more power out of it, both and the top end and the bottom end. So the confidence is there, you know, the car is doing what it needs to do. Driver's, you know, hopefully doing what it needs to do. And I decided I go to Vegas and, you know, swing for the fences. I thought, you know, if everything goes good, we could potentially be pretty competitive. And we actually were. First round Vegas. If you've seen the last video, hopefully. Did a all motor pass down the track. That was my first time there, so did a nice qualifying pass. I think it was like a 13.2 or 13.3 pass all motor. Not too bad at 104 miles an hour. Second pass, turned it up, of course, went down, and we did a really, really great pass. I'll put that clip in next. That actually was my second best pass I've ever done. That was an 11.61 at 114, I think, or 116 miles an hour. But I'll put that up right here. Alrighty guys, so coming out of that pass, confidence way out the roof. I'm ready to make a rip. Actually qualified number 6 out of 32 cars after that pass, and I was stoked. I couldn't be more happier. I was so excited to go into eliminations, and sure enough, the time comes, get up to the line. Had some issues, not with me, person in front of me decides to oil down the track. I guess not decides, but happened to oil down the track. And they back us up and they prep my whole lane. They clean and re-prep it, and I'm like, oh shoot. Don't really have my whole crew there, can't really do too much adjustments. So I just kind of either gotta swing for the fences. I told myself and I thought to myself, you know what, I'm either gonna go really fast, this is gonna be a next PB, or it's gonna break. And I felt like this before. I had the same feeling that happened to me in Colorado, because the same thing happened. Anyhow, I'm hoping for the best. I send it, sure enough, broke the axle. And put us back on the trailer in round 1 in Vegas, unfortunately. Nonetheless, a great learning experience. I got to experience Vegas. I finally went down that track. Figured out my car. I'm back where it needs to be, back next to that PB, and again, it still has a little more in it. So I think if we can get a few more mph out the back, we can be really close to 1150, if not faster. So it's right there. Plans for the car 2026. If you already know, I am going full race car mode in this thing. I'm gonna start stripping it down a little bit, try to cut some weight on it. I mean, the motor is healthy, everything, motor, tranny, all that, it's right where it needs to be. Definitely gonna put some bigger axles in it. Not the biggest, strongest axles, but something in between. So maybe I'll post a video on that soon. But that's a wrap for 2025, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys all in 2026. Peace.